Great. So, welcome to part two of Rap Basics 101 with Seymour Perspective. So, what I'd like to do is have you start by writing down things that you love to do, foods that you love, smells, flavors, sounds, light, colors, anything you want. Just fill up a page with things that you love. It could be activities, it could be games, it could be uh, poetry, literature, whatever it may be. And we'll take it from there. Now, what I'd like us to do is to go over that list of things that we love, things that we experience, things that we remember, things that we like to do, whatever it is. And we want to, on a separate piece of paper, or maybe on the other side, is list as many words as you can that rhyme with any and all of the words on your first page. Great. So here are a few examples of some rhymes, some basic ideas, no big deal. What we'll do now is on a separate page, like you can see here, write 1, 2, 3, and 4 across the top. I've noted just the downbeats and the upbeats, just to give you a sense of how it's moving. Also, this isn't going to be like super accurate in terms of what's happening in the music and your rap in relationship to the music. It's just to give you a general sense of how it'll flow to a 1, 2, 3, 4, or a 1, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, right? Along those lines. And so I'm just going to take a few of my, words that I'm drawn to for whatever reason. And I'm going to put them on the 4. I'm going to take one and then I'm going to take another that rhymes with it. That I think will sound good together or interesting or fun or random or heartfelt or whatever it is that you're going for. For me, I'm just like grabbing some stuff that I think could work well and sound good. And so I have one bar that will lead up to pears. The second bar will rhyme with pears and lead up to the word flares. And then beef is the third one. The rhyming bar will be beats on the 4 after that. And then 2 more bars for fly, the setup rhyme, and then tie, the actual rhyme. And so what I'm doing here now is just taking a look at ideas that come to mind, things that come to mind when I think of pears. Are there comparisons I can make? I love pears. I think they're, sweet and juicy. And so maybe I can compare, my art to pears. So I have here as fresh as a bag of ripe pears. I'm going to try to lead into something that connects with flares somehow. It's going to be a little random. It's okay to be a little random. It's okay to just kind of let your mind wander and piece things together. As fresh as a bag of ripe pears. So let me see what I can do with flares. Might be super random again, making a random connection, kind of let your mind flow. This is just an exercise, it's just an experiment. So we can just really do whatever we want and make it whatever we want. It can be funny, it can be, scary, it can be personal, it can be heartfelt, it can be science fiction, it can be about Batman, it can be about whatever you can imagine. It can be about your family, it can be about culture. And so pears are fresh. When they're ripe, they're so delicious. So that connects to flavor. And then I'm just thinking, I'm just putting flavor out there like flares. So I follow up with as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like flares. And these may not be perfect rhymes. They may not fit really snugly right now into our bars on the beat, into the 1, 2, 3, 4. But I can come back to that a little later and perfect that. I just want to get my ideas out first. So I don't want to slow myself down trying to make it perfect right now. We'll get to that in a second. But just for now, I want to lay out some rhymes, lay out some lines that lead up to them that I think, are at least imaginative. So, drums as thick as stewed beef. Okay, right? So, kind of a theme here with some pairs with flavor. The flavor stands out like flares do in the sky. That's an odd comparison, but I like it. And when it comes down to it, nobody has to like what you write except for you. It just has to represent you. And you just keep on writing and keep doing your thing and developing, and you're going to be a dope MC. And as I think about it, I'm not pulling my hair over trying to fix these lines, but here and there, I might think of something like, okay, I spit over drums thick as stewed beef, because I knew that needed a little more language in there, needed some more beats or syllables, needed some more words in there, some more sound. So I started that line a little differently. And then what if I just changed beef to meats? It rhymes more precisely with beats, and it doesn't have to be beef in particular. It could be lamb, chicken, pork, whatever. So I'm making connections here between my music, my rap, my beats, drums, making these comparisons to pairs, to having flavor that is so strong, it's like a flare in the sky. That flavor is in my music. That's already a comparison. So I'm bending the rules a little bit of how we normally speak. And that's really good in hip hop and in poetry. Because when we bend those rules, it allows us to say things in ways that can connect with the audience to our experience, to our feeling, to our thought, our idea, our memory, whatever it is. Otherwise, it can be a little difficult. So feel free to find those things that are unusual or that don't come off, the same as they need to in, other areas of our life. So I'm connecting thick drums like stewed meats, trying to find a lead up to beats. When I think of meats that are stewing, it's basically like slow cooking with a lot of water, stock, veggies, whatever, right? So all that flavor, I'm soaking in the juices of these smooth beats. And so that's a double rhyme, so I get extra credit for that one. Stewed meats and smooth beats. Doesn't have to be multiple syllable, multiple word rhymes. But if it happens, go with it. And then fly starting off. At every beginning, you can choose to continue, the thought or idea that you were expressing in the previous line or lines or bars, or you could just, kind of start with a new idea. So I have, if words were wings, I'd be so fly. So as long as I'm asking a question, if words were wings, I can ask any question I want. And I think that's kind of a cool theme. So what if I followed up with another if? If my pen was a pepper, it'd be Thai. Because Thai, I don't know if you know Thai food well intimately, if you've ever tried it. Thai food is delicious, it's dope. If you haven't tried it, please make it a point to. It can also be very spicy. And so Thai peppers are like legendarily hot, spicy peppers. So if my pen were a pepper, it would be, it would be Thai. It would be a hot, it would be a hot pepper. And so now I'll just start to make some of these changes I talked about before. So instead of as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, I started off with about as fresh as a bag of ripe pears. And I just get right into it. you can introduce yourself, you can introduce what you're talking about, or you just can start hitting them with the rhymes and ideas and images that connect to the senses. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like bright flares. So that one, that needs a little work. That seems a little chunky, maybe a little long. I spit over drums thick as stewed meats, and soak in the juices of the smooth beats. So right here, I feel like might need more. I might need one more word here. I need a little more sound to fit in the beat. So let's see. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like quite bright flares. See, that clicks, that connects. You can hear the flow already even before I start counting. But when I do, 1, 2, 3, 4. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like quite bright flares. Pretty nice, and extra points again for extra rhymes. And so now I'm at the point where I could rewrite it, since I'm starting to make these edits and getting a clearer idea of the flow and how I imagine it sounding, how I want it to sound, how I think it could sound, try some things out, clean it up a little bit. So just starting again, 1, 2, 3, 4 on a new page, and just trying to just have something I can read through, fairly well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears. Maybe that's the wrong way to start. 1, 2, 3, 4. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears. Flavor in the air. Okay, so putting flavor in the air. Like quite bright flares. One, 2, 3, 4. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like quite bright flares. Nice, that's nice. The rhythm feels better to me personally when I wait off of that first beat, right? So it would be 1 and then I start. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 about as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like quite bright flares. Nice. Let's change it to chewing, because they're thick, and I'm like processing these beats and I'm vibing with it. And I'm considering and thinking over the beat and trying to find the right rhymes to fit. So chewing on the drums, thick as stewed meats, and soak in the juices of the smooth beats. Sounds pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like quite bright flares. Chewing on drums, thick as stewed meats, and soaking in the juices of the smooth beats. Yeah, so something like that. Those work out pretty well. If words were wings, I would be so fly. And I think I said I'd, but I think I would be just feels like it fits a little bit better in the beat. So I'm changing that up a little bit. And if my pen was a pepper, I think I put were before, and was. Sounds better to me, doesn't matter. It would have to be tie. And then I think that'll fit quite nicely. So then we put it all together, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. About as fresh as a bag of ripe pears, putting flavor in the air like quite bright flares. Chewing on the drums, thick as stewed meats, and soak in the juices of the smooth beats. If words were wings, I would be so fly. And if my pen was a pepper, it would have to be tie. Something like that. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, so that about does it. Thanks a lot for joining me. I hope you found something valuable. I hope you found something interesting, cool. I hope you wrote some fly rhymes, and I hope you continue to seek ways to be creative and to create art. It's so important. And as a hip hop artist and as a spoken word poet, the best thing I can do is inspire others to tell their stories and talk about where they're coming from. So hopefully you go ahead and do that. Thanks a lot. Peace.